The second part of the competition just started and Island 2 is already getting even more messy and shady, with the judges becoming more biased towards certain members and with the competition getting harder. We are really entering the most significant part of the competition, the one where each contestant really needs to step up their game and solidify their position among fans and judges. There are quite a few things I want to talk about, so let's get into it. It's so over for Soo-jung and I'm not even sorry. The way she behaved with Mai totally pissed me off. I get that this was an individual competition and ultimately it was every man for himself, and so that's why Soo-jung maybe didn't really care about telling Mai that she was making a mistake, but the way she spoke about her felt very mean-spirited, especially because if you have these thoughts about her, there is no reason to openly talk about it in front of everyone else and tarnishing Mai's image in front of other people. She could have just kept it to herself honestly, not to mention Soo-jung has already worked in a team before. So I would have expected her to be more mature in dealing with the situation, because even if it's an individual competition, it's still important for the whole team to do well and make a good impression. It might be an individual game now, but once you debut you need teamwork, and if you don't have the teamwork mentality from now, it's gonna be a problem once you debut. Not to mention I thought it was quite hypocritical how she talked about my singing too nasally, when Soo-jung herself has a very nasal voice, and she was also criticized by the judges for sounding too much like CL, almost as if she was trying too hard to sound like her. So what she said, it felt very hypocritical. Last but not least, Mai is Japanese and so she might have also had problems with the pronunciation. I really appreciated how Ji-hoon intervened and showed she was a very mature leader that knew how to deal with the situation, even if, like I said, it was every man for himself. But still she didn't let the competition get in her way of being a good team member and a good friend to another contestant who is a foreigner that struggles with the language. And you can say that Soo-jung was evil edited all you want, but she was not evil edited. She said what she said, plain and simple. It was very clear, and there is only so much evil edit that Mnet can do. Now I don't really want to judge Soo-jung just from this clip. However, if she had no problem saying these things openly in front of the cameras, imagine what she might say when the cameras are off. I kinda lost a bit of respect for her. I just know that if I was Mai, I would feel really hurt. Soo-jung was pretty immature in the way she dealt with this situation, and it really rubbed me the wrong way. Even if Mai is not one of my picks and I think she should improve, this was just not the way to go about it. And since I mentioned Ji-hoon, I'm glad to see how much she grew and matured as a person. When the show started, Ji-hoon was a bit immature in the way she dealt with problems, always letting her emotions get the best of her, creating tension in the team and slowing it down. I was sure that she was gonna grow as a person and it was just a matter of time. So I am happy that we are seeing her growth, and I'm actually very pleased about it because I have always liked her. There was just a bit of a problem with the way she dealt with things immaturely sometimes, but I'm glad that this experience really turned her into a better person, a more grown-up version of herself. We really got to see how good she is at leading and how responsible she is. And even if every contestant was essentially competing against each other, she still made sure everybody did a good job, and she didn't leave Mai behind, because even when Mai was struggling, instead of speaking badly behind her back, she went and helped her because she wanted everybody in the team to do well so that the team could put on a good show for everyone. And this is a very mature way of reacting, and I think that if she had been in this situation in the beginning of the show, she would have probably acted very differently because she still needed to grow. But now it is amazing to see how much she has improved. Honestly, I can say that she is more than ready to debut now, and she'll make a great addition to the group. Jimin needs to be more confident instead of playing it safe. I feel like the biggest problem with Jimin is how she always seems to be lacking confidence and almost always plays it safe. Considering her big fandom and big support, she is a contestant that can definitely push herself more, because even she makes mistakes and something goes wrong, she can still rely on a super big fandom, and she's not taking advantage of this. It's like she is always scared to do bad, and so she always hesitates even when applying for the center part. She is not necessarily the contestant the judges love the most, but she's still fairly appreciated by them. So she is in a position where she can risk more, and the risk is going to pay off at this point in the competition. She will debut no matter what. But as somebody who is watching the show and does not have her in my picks, seeing her always being so hesitant is not really making her rise in my personal ranking. This attitude is not really leaving a big impression on me, and even if I like her, I always find myself to be a bit indifferent when it comes to her. The judges are way too biased. I think it's no secret that judges can be pretty biased on survival shows, but this time around it's pretty obvious. For starters, I think that Yuju didn't do as bad as they said. She wasn't underwhelming as they made it out to be. It's not like she was unable to convey the emotions and vibe of the song. She just needed to work a bit harder, but still, they made it seem as if she gave a poor performance and the final judgment was very negative even if she didn't essentially make any mistake. Also, it seems like they always praise some contestants for the bare minimum while they forget to highlight other contestants when they do very well. For example, Ju-won and Gyu-ri did pretty well, but they didn't even say anything about them. It seems like they were more focused on praising the bare minimum when it came to other contestants instead of praising the ones who did well. And also, it's very telling how when somebody they like messes up, they brush it off very quickly. For example, when Sarang messed up, they were like, "Yes, you messed up, but it's okay, you still did a good job. You just need to be more confident." And mind you, Sarang is my #1 pick. I love her to death. She hasn't even debuted, but she's already one of my favorite people ever. But I just find it hypocritical how they kind of dismissed the mistakes she made and hyper-focused on other contestants even if their mistakes were way smaller and less noticeable than Sarang's. Sarang is a great contestant and she definitely needs the judges to believe in her and encourage her. But I just think that we should point out the double standards. Also, the judges criticized Sujin for copying CL's way of rapping nasally, but were totally okay with my doing the same. I just think it really goes to show which contestants they don't give a fuck about or straight up dislike. There shouldn't have been a live audience voting yet. The live voting should have been done later on in the competition, because I feel like as of now we still need for the girls to be judged more based on their qualities rather than their popularity. Because anyway, there will be a day when the girls will be judged solely based on their popularity. But for now we still need them to receive judgment that is more based on what their capabilities and their shortcomings really are, so that they can work more on developing their skills and getting better at what they are lacking. But now if we are already relying on public voting, which is obviously based on popularity, I feel like it's counterproductive because it will not give the girls reasonable feedback and will just play with their emotions and discourage them, making some of them feel like they have no hope at all, like it's not even worth trying since their fanbase is small. This live stage with the public voting was just a popularity contest, and I feel like at this point of the competition, we still needed to hear more from the judges so that we can all have a better idea of what the girls can do and can improve, instead of putting everything in the hands of the public. I still think the final lineup might have 7 members. This is probably just me being delusional, but hear me out. Even if it was announced that the final lineup will have 6 members, my theory is that those 6 members will be the ones picked by the public. But there will also be 1 member picked by the judges, which is something they'll only tell us last minute as a shock factor. If you think about it, Mnet is known to change things up last minute in order to surprise everyone, and this will also allow Mnet to add a member of their choice, and if they have this chance they will take it. Many other survival shows made both contestants and fans believe there was a maximum amount of members in the lineup, but in the finale they added 1 or more spots last minute, so I kind of think this might happen. Especially because there's no reason for Island 2 to have 1 less spot in the lineup compared to Island 1, but also, in Island 1 the last member of the lineup was picked by the judges, so technically there were 6 picked by votes and 1 by judges. It might be the same thing for Island 2, the only difference being that Mnet is keeping it a secret. I feel like they're doing it especially because we all expected the lineup to have 7 members like Season 1, so they wanted to fool us. Anyway, this might just be me being delusional, but who knows? Let me know if you also think this could be a possibility. Well, this was all I wanted to talk about. As always, I'm interested in knowing what you guys who are watching the show think. Whether you agree with me or have a very different view, let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Bye besties.